You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. So hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me with a mind of mine. This is good, you don't get down. To the order from the altar, and I know it's such, and this is good, you can't touch it.
Hey, welcome to the Rude Dog Show. I had to throw a little MC Hammer in there because something got hammered out between the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, and yours truly, Tony Romo. It's No Mo Romo in Dallas, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rude Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes. I'm live on Facebook. I am live. I am in your ear. I'm ready to engage. You're probably wondering, where do I listen? Or maybe, what do I do to listen to the broadcast? Or how do I stay out of the doghouse? It's real simple, ladies and gentlemen. You can download the app from your smartphone on Google, or if you prefer the other low-hanging fruit of Apple, you can find it at the Apple Store. Anyway, however you're listening, thank you for tuning in. This is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show on WBLZSports.com. This is my opening rant. I usually don't make it an opening rant, but today is certainly no exception to that rule. Clearly, Twitter has been blowing up, and there's been a lot of conversation about Tony Romo. And we'll start here. When I look back at any given NFLers and realize where their career's been and the choices that they've made, I've asked a myriad of former players if they would consider jumping into broadcasting after retiring from the NFL, so that way they can basically have a choice whether they want to continue playing football, just like I'd interviewed Ryan Harris, case in point. He says, well, maybe I'll come back into the NFL. Nothing's been proven, at least up to that point. But what's really interesting is that when you think about retiring from any given, whether you've been a mechanical engineer for 25 years or whether you're a football player that's played in the NFL for 20 years. I don't know anybody who's played in the NFL for 20 years, but I can tell you this much. The decision for them to either occupy another position or to flip the script and say, well, I've been interviewed by all these people. Maybe interviewing is my thing. Maybe analytics is what I do. Sometimes the answers are easier, and sometimes they're, well, explicably hard because you allow others to control your destiny. Here's a good example of that. We were talking about Tony Romo, the fact that he's been handcuffed by an owner who ultimately allowed general managers not to speak to him up until yesterday. Now, Tony Romo's been a long-time Dallas Cowboy. He went undrafted in 2003, and today he finds himself no longer handcuffed, unless you consider being handcuffed to CBS really handcuffed. But when you look at the owner, who's clearly has his hands in too many pies and has over the past, you can probably call him a baker or a candlestick maker, I don't know, but Jerry Jones has done way too much, too often, and sometimes less is more. In the day and age where you should just let it play out, Jerry Jones has done, well, neither. Could this have been the ultimate writing on the wall for Jones to allow Romo to do anything? Do what's right for Romo? I don't know. He's expressed heartfelt sincerity in relation to allowing Romo to do what his best interest is for Romo. I don't see that being the case. I think that's just nothing but talk. It's lip service. Either way, it's rhetoric. In no way, shape, or form, Jerry Jones allowed Romo to do just that. Romo made the decision to and I say temporarily, and I use that term very loosely because a lot of times players who are in the NFL decide to come out of retirement. And more often than not, their decision is ill-hearted. He's already stated to Jerry Jones that if they needed him to come back, he certainly would do just that. And I believe that could be the case. I really, truly feel that if Jerry Jones called him, it's a matter of how high do you jump and how much money are you talking. It really is what it boils down to. I don't know what type of contract CBS had given Tony Romo, but I can tell you this much. A lot of hype was made by Jerry Jones in lieu of all of this. But I say this, Tony Romo, good luck to you. I wish you the absolute best. Farewell, Tony, bon voyage. But I believe that you may consider coming back if your best fit could be in Houston. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe somewhere in the land of the Broncos where horses roam. Maybe Denver would be a good place for you as well. In either case, I want to wish my best to Tony Romo in hopes that broadcasting will be something that he can excel at, and to not take it for granted, to really stick, time in the grind and do what a lot of people that have been in this industry for a long time, and I'm not really talking myself, I've been doing this for 4 years plus, but that doesn't mean that I'm ready, or nor do I consider that I'm not ready. Maybe somewhere in between could be a place that I could land as well. But congratulations nonetheless, Tony Romo. I wish you the best, and maybe get a chance to have you here on the Rude Dog Show. With all of that said, I have a very special guest, a special linebacker today who knows the word well-traveled probably better than anyone, maybe even myself, here on the show. Welcome, Dakota Cox, surefire draft pick in the linebacker position for any team who wants speed, character, and intelligence. This is a player for whom you are seeking. Tune in to the Rude Dog Show now. NFL scouts, general managers, owners, you will want to hear this. Welcome, Dakota, to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking your time out to join me here on this show today. Let's talk about...
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not a problem. This is what I do, to help guys like yourself out, to help get known and basically become a part of an NFL roster, and hopefully this will help put you over the edge. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. But let's start from the beginning and a little bit more about who you are. You're a sports enthusiast. You do like to hike avidly. You're a golfer. You like to golf. I don't know if golf is a sport, but for some it is, and for you, clearly, may very well be. but none of that compares to your love and knowledge of football. Well, obviously, when you're playing it, it shows you've exhibited that at the University of New Mexico Lobos. And we have a caller. This is very interesting and very unique to the show. Let's see what the caller has to say. Welcome to the Rude Dog Show. You're on with Dakota Cox and Rudy Reyes.
Hey, Rude Dog. This is Lou from yesterday.
Lou from yesterday. Thank you. What kind of questions did you have for Dakota?
Well, I was just wondering, you know that they said Tony Romo was actually going to retire from football. Is he actually going to go to CBS to replace Sims, or is this just still a rumor?
No, he's certainly on his way to replace Phil Simms. You can either love Phil or you can hate Phil. As a broadcaster, you have a lot of torn individuals. I have my own opinion, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's about what's best for Tony Romo, and clearly it's what's best for Phil Simms. He decided to, is he going to be a part of ESPN, or is there anybody out there looking for somebody like Phil Simms to join with? You're replacing an older quarterback with a newer quarterback, but will the results be the same? I don't know. But I have Dakota Cox here on the line. Did you have a question for him?
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware they were having a guest.
Yeah, I have a guest today on the show. No, that's okay. If you have a question for Dakota, you're more than welcome to call back into the show.
All right, I'll see what I can do. I'll check with you later.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll be on for an hour. Thanks. Yeah, can't get away from it. Everybody's real sure-fired about this Tony Romo to broadcasting thing, but in either case, Dakota, I think that you're a really surefire draft pick. I know a lot of teams are looking for the athleticism, the personality, the character, and everything that you've exhibited while you were at the University of New Mexico. If you haven't watched this film, ladies and gentlemen, or scouts, general managers, you may want to consider doing that. His dad was not only a starter for the USC Trojans, but he played in the league, in the NFL, 1 year in the Rams in 1987. Dakota, when I look back at where you've been and the types of things that you've experienced over your lifetime, of course, it's a short one. Your life barely started, not quite there in the NFL at this point. But when you look at where you've been, and I mean literally where you've been, from coast to coast, all over the nation, when you look at the opportunities that have been presented to you due to your hard work, due to your physicality, due to your character, due to your intelligence, what do you consider to be your best attribute if you were to receive a phone call or text or maybe an inbox message on Twitter in regards to your readiness to get into the NFL?
Well, personally, I believe one of my best attributes is, like you were talking about, is I take pride in the game of football, and I take pride in the long hours of studying in the film room, just preparing myself to be the best football player I can be, as well as when I'm out there on the field, I'm making sure I'm playing 100 miles an hour all the time and going from whistle to whistle every play, no matter what. And that's something that was instilled in me very early from my dad, having his football background and just the sports background we have in our family. And I really think that's something that separates me from many other linebackers, and just that ability to transfer that effort and then the intelligence onto the field allows me to play how I play and to be ready for the next level.
I think you're headed to the next level. Your brother Jordan plays baseball at California Lutheran University, and then your younger brother Chandler plays football currently for Auburn. That's an interesting choice when you look at where you've been from a family perspective in relation to sports. Do you think that it was your dad's encouragement to get you rolling into football, or did you feel that track or maybe any other sport would have grabbed you and really grabbed your attention and focus, or do you think that football was the end-all and that's where you felt you could excel at?
Football was always a sport I loved ever since I started playing my third grade year. That was my first year of Pee Wee football, and it was really just something that I grew to love year in and year out. And another sport I actually really liked was hockey, which I played in high school, and that's something I started to get pretty good at. My first year playing hockey was my freshman year of high school, and it was a sport that was just a lot of fun to play. Fast, physical, all the time. I mean, you're moving, you're constantly moving all the time. And it was a sport that I started to get pretty good at, and was able to be voted a team captain on the varsity team as a sophomore. And just something that kind of, I really had to look at football and hockey, and like you said, track. That was more of to keep me conditioned for both of those. But I knew football was really what I was best at and where I could, do the most with, and it could take me the farthest. And it was something that I wanted to focus on, so I focused on that my junior and senior year of high school and just did track and football, just prepared for that. And but I think football's always been just my first love of the sports that I did throughout my whole life.
Well, your recruiting was hectic in high school. As a matter of fact, during your time there, you and your dad were you guys were on point because you knew what you had to do, but it was an arduous journey. And I'm talking a cross-country journey, a literal journey, because you attended 9 football camps in 13 days to try to get someone to notice to help you earn a scholarship. I mean, was there at any point whatsoever going through these 13 days? I mean, almost like a book, 9 camps in 13 days. That actually sounds like a good title. You may want to think about writing one when you retire from the NFL. 9 camps in 13 days. But that cross-country trek was huge. It was long. You went to Kentucky, you went to Cincinnati, you went to San Diego State University in Southern California, kind of close to where I'm at here, an hour or so away. But what was it about the decision? It had to have been a very well-thought-out, well-manicured plan, at least from you and your dad, in order to help you get to the next level. But you knew you had to get there. You had to go through this journey in order to ultimately find out where you belong. Was there a well-thought-out plan to this, or was it just shooting from the hip and say, you know what, let's just go and try it?
Well, throughout my high school career, I went to a private Catholic school, a smaller school in Utah, named Juan Diego Catholic High School, and getting recruited out of there was pretty tough, and I wasn't really highly recruited at all. And I remember many late nights. Me and my dad stayed up calling coaches, sending my film out, trying to get just some notice somewhere. And so one day my dad, suggested, let's just go to a bunch of camps across the country going into your senior year, and let's try to make it happen. Let's try to get your name out there and see what you can do. And so we set up, that 13-day trip where I started in San Diego, and I think the last camp I did was at Indiana University. And just so pretty much all the way across the country doing 9 different camps. And it was really strategically set up to where I was even in Kentucky, actually had a day off to take the ACT right after the camp there. And it was perfect because after that went up to Indiana, I'm pretty sure, and then finish it off right there. But it was day to day. We had a good schedule going, and my dad was awesome about setting that up and just trying to get my name out there. He just wanted me to really have the opportunity to do what he did and play Division I football. And I got to Cincinnati, went through the camp, and they ended up offering me actually 2 days later when I had just finished the Indiana University camp. And I actually ended up committing to Cincinnati really just a few days later because of the sole fact that they were very high up in the rankings that time. Butch Jones was an awesome coach. I loved what he was preaching, and it was something that I really liked the place and thought I could do something great with it. And from there on, I was committed going into my senior season of football at Juan Diego, and I was committed fully to Cincinnati. And then midway through my season, I got a call from New Mexico saying they really like me down there. They're going to be there in case anything happens. Well, I didn't think of that as anything until after my senior season when I found out that Coach Jones was actually headed to Tennessee to be the head coach over there. And so with me thinking of, they're going to bring in a new coaching staff, all this kind of stuff, and I decided to take a trip down to New Mexico and really just saw a great opportunity for me to help get the Lobos back on the map and just bring them back to their glory of winning games and going to bowl games. And Coach Davey was doing an awesome job of what he was instilling in the program, and ended up flipping my commitment from Cincinnati to New Mexico. And it was something where I just ran from it from there.
Well, when you talk about going to Kentucky and Cincinnati, at any point did you feel as though this is not going to work out? Did you have any doubts along the entire, and I'm talking prior to getting the go-ahead by University of Cincinnati in terms of flipping the script and going to University of New Mexico Lobos, but was there at any point whatsoever where you said, Dad, this just isn't working?
I'm a very optimistic person, and I think that was the biggest thing that helped me out through the whole journey and the process. And same with my dad. We were always, staying up late, trying to send those recruiting mail out and just everything like that, but also trying to keep that positive mindset, trying to put it out there, the fact that, I'm going to get some notice. I knew I had the talent. I knew I could keep up with any D1 program, and so I wanted to really just go out there and showcase my skills, and that's why I was so eager to jump on that Cincinnati offer because, they were the first team that really took an interest in me and saw me as a great player. And I remember that day when they offered me, it was almost like a sigh of relief because I didn't have much going on. And so that positivity and the optimistic attitude I had just really ended up paying off for me, and it also attracted New Mexico. And it was something that you have to stay positive in that process. And I think me as a person is I live my life like that. I'm very optimistic, very positive a lot, and just really putting things out there in the universe, is trying to visualize it first before it happens, and it usually always comes back very good.
Well, the outcome is where you're at right now. There's a lot of questions in relation to can I do this? Can he do this? Guaranteed at some point it crossed your mind and you thought to yourself, man, am I going to get a full ride? Is there any expenses I have to incur? But ultimately, what was it about New Mexico? Tell me what was it about New Mexico that pulled you in, that finalized deal that ultimately made Cincinnati a rearview mirror spot?
Well, I remember when I took my visit down to New Mexico, I did an unofficial first and then did an official a little later. I committed on my unofficial after I got back home. But really, it was something that I saw what Coach Bob Davie put into place at New Mexico. He brought a whole system in of really just discipline, attitude, and physicality, toughness. I mean, the defense was a great scheme for me to do well. And Coach Cosgrove, who has been my linebacker coach and defensive coordinator since I've been there, it really, I saw an opportunity to be in a program where I could strive to start as a freshman, which I did, and be able to start the next 4 years. And so it was an opportunity for me to help put the Lobos back on the map and really just do something great for the program. And I give credit to all the guys that came in with me. We had the same attitude, the same mindset of really just wanting to change the program around and help Coach Davie out and all the coaches, and just really bring the program back to what the community loves it being at. And it was really seeing that was what made me commit, and I knew I could do something great down here.
I think they've seen something more in you than they were willing to admit. And the reason why I say that is because they can look at all the film. I mean, they can go over the numbers. They can say, he's received this or he's done that. And, they can put all those things together. I was talking about character yesterday on the Rude Dog Show, and what I was really honing in on is that more often than not, guys that enter the NFL, it's almost as if the NFL is Tinder. The Tinder site. I don't travel. I haven't heard about it, but no, seriously, what they do is they try to get you hooked. There's a little hook by the NFL to get you to do what they want you to do in some capacity or another. Now, granted, you're headed into the NFL. There's no doubt about it. All conference awards, freshman All-American honors, Guild of New Mexico Defensive MVP awards. The list goes on and on and on. You have a finance degree, master's in sports admin, and the list goes on from there. But I think that what the disconnect is to a lot of players that are headed into the NFL is that players like yourself have the character, and you don't have the character issues that surround a lot of guys entering the NFL. Do you consider character to be one of the highest components as a part of who you are outside of the athleticism that you've shown while you were at New Mexico?
Yeah, I think, like you had mentioned, I did get my finance degree, and I'm working on my sports administration master's right now. That's something I've taken pride in because I understand that you have to take care of yourself both on and off the field. And academically is something that my parents instilled in me very early to always focus on before you move to that athletic standpoint, as well as it's going to coincide how you play and how much you put into your academics. So I really think that me as a person is, like you said, I don't have the off the field issues. Intelligent on and off the field. I'm very coachable to any coach that is out there. I'm a guy that's going to take their coaching points and apply it to my game, and they don't need to tell me again. And I think that's something that really separates me from many linebackers. And in the past 4 years, I've been able to build on that standpoint, as well as a leadership standpoint, because I was a 3-time captain at New Mexico. And just really building on those leadership abilities and being around such a great team these past 4 years, I've been able to build on that aspect. So I think besides the athletics, the athletic ability, I think there's a lot more that goes on off the field that you have to really set yourself up to succeed on the field. And I feel like I have all those qualities that are needed.
I do as well. Just from talking to you offline as well, the conversation basically is surrounding that with the disciplines you have academically. Now, granted, everybody struggles. Some people struggle physically. Some people struggle mentally, emotionally. You've been able to exhibit a lot of great qualities. I'm really surprised that at least no more than a handful of NFL teams are looking at you right now with that. Would it be a fair assessment to say that you would hope that NFL teams and more of them would be inquiring with you than they are at this point?
Yes, I do. I mean, that's always something I want to happen. And I really think of myself as really kind of an underdog, underrated linebacker going into the draft. And I really think that if a team sits down and looks at the productivity I've had on the field as well as the past of everything I've done in the classroom, I mean, showing that I am disciplined, I am knowledgeable, I'm coachable, I'm able to go out there and start from a freshman to senior year and lead the team in tackles all 4 years. I mean, it just shows that I have the abilities on and off the field, and it's something that I think I could be a great contribution to any team out there in the NFL.
Yeah, guaranteed. I completely agree with you. I'm always for the underdog. Always. Look, I'm 43 years old. I am reinventing myself, and I'm telling it on live air here. People know. If you go to therudogshow.com, you look in the About section about me, you'll see that I'm a no-nonsense kind of guy. I've been striving to do something better and bigger than myself, and this is where I'm at right now, and I'm not going to stop. You're not going to stop either. Now, I'm also a college student, and you're getting your master's in sports administration, which tells me that you have the discipline, the passion, the desire, the willingness to do whatever you have to do to get to the next level. Scholarship Athlete Awards is something that you're accustomed to getting from an academic standpoint. You've had many good things happen in your collegiate career and in your athletic career, but there was a setback. The sophomore year during the 9th game of the season, you blew your knee out, your ACL and your LCL, and you couldn't get any worse. Being as positive as you are, do you believe that those were trials that you had to go through at some point to help you understand what the bigger picture is later on?
Yeah, well, looking back on it, and especially after going through the many months of rehab and recovery after an injury like that took me out game 10, 11, and 12 of that soccer season, I was definitely in a different mentality after that happened, after I got injured. I feel like everyone goes through that stage where they're not sure why it happened and how they're going to get back, things like that. But like I was talking about, my optimistic mindset, the positive attitude that I have all the time, that's really just something I took into my rehab going through the whole off season. I didn't get an off season at all throughout the year of 2015 going into my junior season. It was really just rehab every day, working out, trying to regain that strength in the leg and in my knee right there. And it was just something you had to really have that positive mindset to push you through. And looking back on it, I really think it created a better player and a better attitude in myself to understand more of just the aspect of the mental side of things, because I think that's so big within football. And it kind of allowed me to see more and better myself than I had ever really realized I needed. And so I got a whole other aspect of mental strength, trying to push through every day of rehab and get back out there and be able to start every game my junior season without missing a snap. And I mean, it was something that it took a lot for me to go through that, but I look back at it as an opportunity that helped me out both mentally and physically, and just creating myself as a better football player in those aspects.
When you look at injury, and it's almost as if you were designated to go through that, because when you go into the NFL and you leave high school, you leave college behind, and you don't have any major significant injuries, you don't understand what it takes to get you back to where you were prior to the injury. And in the NFL could have been more so emotionally tough for you because here you are going through all these years after year, high school, college, without any major injuries, knee, no blowouts or anything of that nature, shoulder problems, etc. Then you get to the pinnacle in the NFL, and all of a sudden you're injured, and it takes you out for a year. I guarantee that's more of an emotional challenge, a mental challenge. Obviously, it's physical because you injured your physicality, you injured a part of who you are. But being able to recover from that, some players don't. Some players cannot recover from understanding that injury is part of the game. Everybody's going to get injured. It's just a matter of when. Yours happened very early on, and since then, and despite the injury, you've done a lot of fantastic things. A lot. I mean, look. So you were hurt and missed 3 games. You got back on the horse and rode it out. You're 12.9 as well as first team All Mountain West tackles per game. It was almost as if that next season for rehab was just a break. Kind of. Because it was a kind of a break because now you're not on the field preparing. You're in a different type of preparation. You're preparing yourself mentally, emotionally, personally to get back on the horse to ultimately lead you into the next segment of your life, whether it's junior, senior, sophomore year, really doesn't matter. But you took it as a challenge, and I think that you like the challenge. The fact that you have a chip on your shoulder, and that's how you play, and that's how you're entering the NFL draft, I think that an NFL team would serve a higher purpose for you in the right circumstance, the right situation, and the right NFL team to help you prosper, to not only continue playing with that chip on your shoulder, but could end up making you very successful along with the chip that would also become successful as well.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. I mean, like you said, really going through that stage of injury, and it gives you more. You kind of create yourself as more of an all-around football player, not just that physical aspect that you need to bring every game. It creates you as a mental toughness. It creates that mental toughness in you, and that emotional side of getting through the hard times. And really, like you said, I did take it as a challenge to get back in time. I was told by a few people that, I may need to redshirt going into my junior season. I may not be able to play. I don't know if you're going to be ready. I saw that as an opportunity to go out there and prove a lot of people wrong, and to take it as a challenge and show them that I could come back faster and stronger than I even was my sophomore year when I did get hurt. And I think that's the attitude I've had my whole life because of the way, how I was under-recruited, playing at a school in New Mexico. We started off not winning very many games to a point where now we were co-Mountain Division champions in the Mountain West. So, I mean, it's something that I've lived my whole life working hard, trying to make myself known, and knowing that not everything is given to you, and you have to do the hard work to get there.
Look, D1 guys, D2 guys, you take a page out of Dakota Cox book, I'll tell you that much right now, because you hit on something that's so key, and a lot of student athletes really take advantage of, in the fact that things are not given to you. And no, they're not given to you. And they weren't given to you either. Personally, you knew what you had to do. You continue to do what you need to do. And from an emotional, personal, and professional standpoint, would you say that your professionalism started at a young age? Was it in high school? Was it in college? And will that professionalism take you to the next level and help others feed off of that you're emitting?
And I think it was really just a whole process when I started playing football. And with my dad's background of football, I really looked up to him as an opportunity to really just learn different aspects of the game from what he went through. And I think it really came to light in my high school career when I was getting recruited and just trying to understand how to get to that collegiate level on a scholarship. And I think that's when the professionalism really came into play, and when I understood what I needed to do to get to that level, to be a great football player, both to be a great person, both on and off the field. I started to really take that as a leadership opportunity to spread out throughout the whole team, regardless of what team I was on in high school, being a captain on the hockey team as well as the football team, and then transferring that into college. I know a lot of my teammates saw that ability very early, as I was able to be voted a team captain from my sophomore year to my senior season. And I think it was just something that I pride myself in, the fact that I worked very hard to get to the point that I am now. And I know that I can help some other guys around me and anyone that is willing to listen and take the opportunity to go through that as well. I really think that has helped me benefit throughout my whole college career, and as well as being around all those different personalities, I've been able to broaden my leadership aspect. And I think that professionalism and that leadership ability can take me far in the NFL and to any team that is willing to take me on. And I really think that I can really just show by example of how I'm doing things and how I work, that effort standpoint. I think it'll rub off on a lot of people.
I do as well. You're a high character guy heading into a very high, powerful draft situation. There's a lot of other great talent as well. When, or do you, would be rather the question, when you rate yourself, or do you even think about rating yourself against other linebackers that are higher in the NFL draft? And do you believe that you can exceed not only your own expectations, get to the next level, but any NFL team that was to call you?
I think a big part of being a great football player is being confident in your skills and how you play. And I believe that I can compete with any linebacker out there. And I know that I can keep up with any of them. Just like I knew that going into college, I had to have that confidence and know that I could play D1 football and I could excel at it as well. And I know that I have confidence in my skills and my talents on the field and with my football knowledge. And I really think that I can keep up with any linebacker out there and put myself on a scale with any of those linebackers that were at the combine or going early in the draft. I think I can definitely keep me up there in that level.
I do as well. You're fast, you're quick, you have high character, high standards, high morals. I think, I've said it before here on the show, and I got to go to a quick commercial break, but before I do that, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to make this blanket statement. And I don't know if you've heard this, Dakota, in past interviews, or if you listen to past interviews that I have, but I'm going to say it like this. If there were more guys like Dakota Cox heading into the NFL, you would have even less character problems, less disciplinary actions taken on players who don't know when to say when. They don't know when to stop. We're talking about Michael Irvin yesterday, famous cowboy busted for 2 ounces of marijuana. Those are character problems, and other players we're talking about as well. Not trying to have a repeat here, but the bottom line is this. Unless you're listening, looking, watching, paying attention to what Dakota Cox has done on the field and listening to this interview now, you are missing out. Period. End of story. There's no question about it. Dakota, hold on. We'll be right back. This is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show. What a show we have for you this afternoon. Make sure you download the app to catch the other T-minus 20 minutes worth of show we have left, but I'll be right back.
This is the sheet. Gets me all revved up. My face is now red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's so raw. He's so raw with Skype. He hates it. Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns. 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that could happen, I have to say.
They're so good, man. They would win the Big Ten if they were in the Big Ten. You could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Give it to him. Kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. I'm proud of you.
Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? You walk outside, step in a boat, like right when you walk outside, are you stand on the curb and somebody driving by and flash blur up on you? Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else?
I will tell you, before you go any further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks. Good.
Here, listen to the sheet, man. I don't really know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on WBLZ Sports.
Whether it be your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve all your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate your every want. Give them a call, no matter the size of the job, at 740-438-7173. Mention WBLZ Sports, and you'll get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
Hey everybody, this is Robin Vandenberg from Bump and Run and Sports and Shiz, and you're listening to WBLZ Sports, where we've got balls.
Can we just get a made-up play call from you with Ben Roethlisberger going to Antonio Brown for a touchdown and taking it in for a score?
All right, Ben, no, I won't. Looks left, looks right, communicates, steps back into the shotgun. He hands one to his right. Here's the snap. He's back. He looks touchdown over the middle. There goes Antonio Brown. He's launched and he is going.
Kevin Green to Steel Nation Live. Kevin, great to have you on our show.
Outstanding. I appreciate that. Thank you. Good to be on the show.
Join Sanders Tisdale and James Owen and co-host Jeff Reed as we talk to some of the biggest names in Steeler Nation Live sports out there. Check us out every Tuesday night, 6 to 7 p.m. only on WBLZ Sports, the only sports show out there that has balls.
WBLZ Sports, we got sponsors and sponsors your balls.
Welcome back to the Rude Dog Show. This is Rudy Reyes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I have approximately 15 minutes left. And welcome back as well, Dakota Cox, linebacker, New Mexico, Lobos. Dakota, when I look at the laundry list, and I say laundry list, I'm not kidding. This is a laundry list. Anybody who's out there should certainly know what that's all about. Dakota Cox, I'm just going to give a brief rundown. If I miss anything, Dakota, please let me know. I think I'm going to capture everything. So we're going to start at the beginning, okay? All right. So we're going to start from the very inception of your NFL career. Started 9 games as a true freshman, 99 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. You led University of New Mexico in tackles, freshman All-American, Football Writers Association of America, CFN freshman All-American, honorable mention, 2014, you were a team captain, 116 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 hurries, 2 disruptions, led the FBS in tackles at 12.9 per game. First team All-Mountain West, first team captain, won COSIDA, academic All-District 12 in 2014, and Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week following 18 tackles, 1 interception, a performance voted MVP on the defensive side of the ball. 2015 team captain, 97 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 1 pass breakup, returned from ACL surgery. You still had an honorable mention All Mountain West, many preseason honors, voted MVP of team defense, graduated a bachelor's with business administration and finance. Clearly that's happening now, and in 2016 was certainly your best year yet, even with the added 4 or 5 lines here. 2016 you had 91 tackles, 6.5 for loss, 1 interception, 2 sacks, 2 disruptions, moved to 403 career tackles, 2013, 2016, 3rd in Mountain West all time. That's amazing. 6th in New Mexico football history. Defensive MVP of the Gilded New Mexico Bowl 2016. He had 1.5 tackles for loss. Defensive Player of the Week award in Mountain West in Week 1. Honorable mention, All Mountain West 2016. Preseason first team All Mountain West 2016. Phil Steele honors, which is absolutely another fantastic accolade. Graduate student, upcoming 4.0 GPA. It doesn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. When you look at what he's done, when you look at Dakota Cox, when you look at his academic accolades, it makes for an all package, all-rounded player. He has character. He has football lineage from his dad, who had played in the NFL, played for University of California, Trojans. A lot can be said for a guy who needs a spot in the NFL. Coaches, scouts, if you did not hear the aforementioned laundry list of accolades that Dakota Cox has as a part of who he is, as a player, as a person, you are missing out at one of the most explosive, dynamic, coachable players you're going to find in the upcoming 2017 NFL draft, which is happening in less than 30 days. Get to know him, because once you do, you will love him. You will love what he brings. Look at his film. Don't miss out on Dakota Cox just because you're hung up on the big schools with other talents, because the school he comes from is also big, but he stands out with all the aforementioned accolades, certainly stands out to me. And I've interviewed a ton of players, a literal ton. But this guy is certainly one of my favorites this year alone, only for the simple fact that outside of his athleticism, outside of his motion, outside of his range, outside of his comfort zone, he's a very simple, well-manicured, well-maintained individual, because he recognized what he needs to do, what he's needed to do, and what he's done. You can't miss out on that. It's almost mind-boggling. Dakota, what teams have contacted you up to this point?
Hey, you cut out that last second. Repeat that question.
Be glad to. What NFL teams have contacted you?
Hey, it's really, really hard to hear you.
That's okay. Look, NFL teams. That's all right. Look, what NFL teams have been looking for you, have been calling you, have been contacting you, have been doing everything they can to reach out to you.
Well, I've had a few teams take notice of me, and I actually talked to. I attended the NFL Regional Combine back in D.C. at the Redskins facility, and I had put up some really good times over there, jumped my best vertical, and then I actually improved that on Pro Day. The Atlanta Falcons showed some notice and showed some interest there. They talked to me, as well as my linebacker coach and defense coordinators talked to the Redskins, the Chiefs, as well as the Colts, and that's kind of really the guys that I at least know have an interest in me a little bit, or know of me, but really I'm just waiting for more people to come along and watch my film and look at my Pro Day scores, where I ran a 4.62 on my 40, jumped to 33.5 on my vertical, a 9.6 on my broad, put up some good numbers on the bench with 20 reps. It's something where I'm kind of an all-around player, and I'm looking for people to really see that, as well as I got 4 years of film to back up the scores and everything I did on Pro Day. So I'm looking to broaden that list, and hopefully these teams come calling pretty soon, and we'll see if I get that opportunity after the draft.
Oh, I definitely think you will. Look, I think you should belong in the draft conversation, not necessarily undrafted. Despite we were talking about Tony Romo earlier and the fact that he went undrafted, I think that you deserve to have a look and more of an active capacity than an afterthought. That's just my professional opinion.
Definitely, I agree.
You know, so any teams that are out there looking for
I agree just as much.
Somehow I knew you would. I had a feeling that you'd be in agreement with me. Look, go to DakotaCox.com. You don't believe me? Look at him. Look at his stats. Nice website, by the way. I just had a chance to check that out. Very cool. You can look at content information.
Thank you. My dad put it together.
Oh, did he? Oh, well, nice. Good for him. Maybe he can be your website manager from now on. You're your webmaster.
Definitely.
Anyway, good stuff. I really appreciate having you on. It was an absolute pleasure, Dakota. Like I said, any teams that are out there that want a solid, well-manicured, athletic, high-character not only player, but an individual. Somebody that, and I've talked about this before, I've mentioned many times before, somebody in a locker room that you want to handle an issue. And you players in the NFL already know what I'm talking about. Somebody that you can go to. We've got to be a go-to person. I'm not saying that you're a psychologist or you should be a shrink and put on glasses and so on, but for somebody that can be looked at as being a mentor, certainly you're it, Dakota. You're it. I think you're it. I think NFL teams would be. You're absolutely welcome. I think NFL teams would be more than. They should be more than willing. I don't know if they are, but they should be. And if not, they're missing out on, well, all of it. All the different aspects, all the different variations, the things that you bring to not only a football field, but to off-field things as well. I mean, I guarantee there are charities in every NFL team. I don't know if it's written in the CBA or not, which is collective bargaining agreement, but I will say this. They all have their own charities that they give to, whether it's the Ronald McDonald House, whether it's American Cancer Society, whether it's autism for kids in whatever capacity. I think that you'd probably be the first one to sign up to say, look, I want to give back. I want to give of myself. I want to give of my time because in some capacity, it's who you are. And you've exhibited that in college. You exhibited that in high school. And I think that overall as an individual, that is just a part of who you are as a person.
Definitely. I really agree with that, and that's something I've taken pride in my whole collegiate career with doing things with the Special Olympics here, currently working with the I-9 sports youth programs over here, doing things like facilitating and officiating, just helping out with the little kids with flag football. So, I mean, it's something that I always like giving back. I've been to the Children's Hospital many times. It's a great feeling when you can make someone happy and see that smile on their face. And it's something that's one thing I will look at for sure. And I'll be, just like you said, one of the first volunteers to do whatever I can to help out the community.
There you go. A man after my own words. But you know what? Don't let words fool you. Let the action speak for itself. Dakota Cox gets it done on the field, off the field. He's done it in the classroom. Let him do it for your NFL team. There's no reason on this planet that I can think of why you would not give Dakota Cox an opportunity in any given NFL team. Heck, the Rams are local. The Chargers are moving to StubHub. They're already in Los Angeles. They'll be playing here next year as well. If there's a favorite team that you wanted to draft you, do you have one or does it even matter?
Looking at it, it's something where I want to be able to play where I can give the best contribution to any team to help them win. And I can see myself in any position with any team. So really, there's no preference for me, and I'm open for any team out there to take a chance on me.
Well, I think they'll be well-fitted, well-suited to take a chance on you, Dakota. Ladies and gentlemen, Dakota Cox, linebacker, headed into the 2017 NFL Draft. And like I said, if you're missing out on this guy, you are missing the boat, and you'll find yourself in where you don't want to be. And that will be in the doghouse. So stay tuned tomorrow for another episode of the Root Dog Show. And look, Dakota, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you. I wish you the best in the NFL Draft because Lord knows that you want to do your absolute best to get there. And I think that once you do arrive, it'll be well-suited and you'll feel as if you were at home the whole time.
Definitely. I'm very excited for this journey coming up, and I'm definitely not taking anything for granted.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Dakota. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time. But, again, stay tuned tomorrow. Make sure you download the app. You can go to therootdogshow.com on the front page. You can choose Google or iTunes, whatever works for you. Make sure you download. We're going to have a great show lined up for you tomorrow. Dakota, look, if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know, okay?
I will, for sure. Once again, thanks for having me on the show. It's been an awesome hour talking to you, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Dakota Cox, and, of course, Rudy Reyes on the Root Dog Show. Look, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Again, check out tomorrow. Going to have a great show. It's going to be lined up. We're going to be ready to go. I have to give homage where homage is due. I haven't been able to do it for the last couple of days because I just ran out of time. But look, go check out new-game-plan.com. Anthony Gilbert has a fantastic program for players who essentially want to know what it's like by having their mind changed from maybe a bad experience, maybe something they hadn't quite gone through before in their lifetime in relation to agents. There's a bad side to agents. There's a bad side to what you find out there in the agent world. So let Anthony Gilbert change your mindset. He can do more than just represent you. He can help you with your financial needs as well. Sedugamill.us, official vitamin sponsor of Starling Marte of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Of course, Pirates losing their opening day game against Boston. They get another crack at it today. And then, of course, JohnMalecki.com, who could turn your wood dreams into a reality. This is Rudy Reyes on the Root Dog Show on WBLZSports.com.